Hey, what's up, everybody? Anthony here. Most of you know me as AR Creates on social media, but I want to take a little bit. It's going to be a little bit different video from what I normally post. It's not a tutorial or a review or anything, but I wanted to talk about a project that I have been doing a little bit. Started as a little side project, and that's the Church Creatives Club. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background in this video where this idea came from, but I'm also wanting to cast the vision of what this is going to be in the future. I think got some good momentum right now. A lot of people are behind this project, and I think it can be something great for the Church Creatives community. But anyway, a little background on why I decided to start this. I've been doing graphic design, creative work, photography for a little while, but I've always wanted to start a brand. Not necessarily like a clothing brand, but I just wanted to start something that was not related to the AR Creates, you know, my business side, my things that I do under that. And so I kind of had this idea floating around. And I was going to just start making some mock-ups of maybe like hoodies and hats and just different products and just maybe not even actually produce anything, but just kind of a brand, more of just a challenge to myself, just something to see if I could actually do it. And but I kept thinking about this. I was like, I really want to do this, but I can't think of a name. And then I kept thinking, well, I don't want to just create another Christian brand and just sell shirts and do that kind of stuff. I was thinking, like, how can I make this like a community? And I realized that there's nobody really doing like a magazine. And I, being a 90s kid, I had so many magazine subscriptions as a teenager. Skateboarding, cars, photography, electronics, you name it. I was subscribed to it. And that was well before we had all these internet communities that we have now. And it was not as easy to connect to people. So getting a magazine every month or every couple of months and it being just about photography or just about skateboarding or whatever it was always so cool. And it was so easy to appreciate the art in there. You know, looking at photos on our phones now, we just scroll and we double tap to like it. And I think a lot of times we don't really take time to appreciate the art behind that. And so with a magazine, it was so cool to be able to see a full page photograph of something that somebody put a lot of time and effort into capturing a moment and being able to see that. And the same thing with art. And so I got to thinking, how could I take this idea of wanting to create a brand, center that around a community and have something that people could participate in? Almost, you know, kind of like a club, like a membership, like you belong to something. And in the church creative world, you know, it kind of is like a club. You know, there's a lot of church creatives, a lot of people that either work for churches or they do work for churches or their design agency is centered around churches and nonprofits. So I follow a lot of those people, but as a whole, that's still really a pretty niche thing, you know, overall, when you look at the overall art world and design world, you know, the church part of it, still very small. So it does feel like a club at times, you know. It's very social. On social media, there's even some of the big name people, you know, that's got 100,000 followers on their account. They still will interact with you, you know, and things like that. And so I got to think, I was like, what about a magazine? Nobody's really producing like a digital magazine. You know, how cool would it be, you know, every month or every couple of months to, you know, go download this PDF or have it delivered to you or whatever, and just really appreciate reading some articles and looking at graphics and looking at photography and that type of stuff, and not just scrolling through it on your phone and, you know, tapping it for a like or whatever and moving on, but actually taking time to really appreciate that. And so I launched the Church Creatives Club Instagram and started putting the feelers out there. And the first issue came out in July, and I was just overwhelmed with the support. People writing articles, submitting graphics, photographers submitting in photos, just crazy good content. And I felt like it was really a community effort. Like, it wasn't big name people. It wasn't all these famous people. It was just like everyday people that are involved in the church creative work came together and made this happen. And that was just so awesome. And it's grown from there. You know, by the time you watch this video, the October 2020, the October 22 issue may already be out. It's working on it, you know, actually today. I think it's taken to a whole nother level over the July issue. The second issue, learned a lot. I'd never done any kind of publishing before, so this has all been a learning experience for me. And I'm thankful to all the people that not only submitted content, but reached out and gave me advice on publishing. And then even people wanted print copies, you know, to keep kind of as a collectible. And so those are on the way. You know, I learned a lot about setting up things for print and multi-page documents. So been a learning experience for me, but my goal is probably the next issue will come out in 23, first quarter of 23. And I thought, how can we take this thing to the next level? I can't keep relying on, you know, getting on social media and begging people to submit content and to write articles, because that's time consuming. I understand that. And so I was like, I want people to have a voice, but I want to be able to, you know, compensate people for this. You know, I believe the quality will go up if I can start paying people for articles, paying people that submit graphics and photos and, you know, stuff like that. And so I started getting some ideas. You can see one of the hats that I'm wearing, you know, released some hats, got some stickers in the store. I've got some ideas for, you know, more collectible prints, maybe even some hoodies, some t-shirts, some things like that. But I don't want this to turn into a brand where I'm just trying to sell stuff. That's not what this is all about. What I'm thinking for the future is these little small drops of merch, you know, that I release and sell here and there, then I can take that money and fund and actually pay creatives to write more articles, to produce more graphics, and kind of just have this revolving flow, you know, where, you know, people are paying for products, but then I'm turning around and paying people to produce, you know, materials, because I want to keep the magazine free. I don't want this to turn into some kind of subscription model where you're paying, and then we have a deadline where we got to release something every month or every quarter. I want it to still be very community-based. And so I just kind of wanted to explain that and be very open with you guys, because I've had people even reach out like, how can we donate? You know, send me your Cash App, send me your Venmo. Let me send you some money for this. And I've kind of put that off, you know, up until now, because I've been able to DIY a lot of this stuff and it's really not cost a lot out of pocket for this. But in order to grow, you know, that's kind of the direction I want to take this. I think this could end up being a thing where we're producing a full-on magazine, you know, 50, 60, maybe even like 100 pages, you know, every quarter with articles. I'm looking for the future. I want to start doing interviews with creatives, having reviews, you know, advice columns, all different kinds of stuff. I think this thing can just grow, and I thank you for everybody that has shown support so far. And so that's why I kind of wanted to do this video, because it's hard to type all of this out. You know, I'm not much of a writer. That's why I depend on other people to write articles for this. But it's hard to express all this in just a social media post. And so, again, I cannot express like how happy I was to see this actually come to fruition. And it's just all from people in the church community. The church creatives community is fantastic. I mean, I had photographers reaching out, people that write blogs, graphic designers, you know, print designers, all this kind of stuff. Everybody reaching out like, hey, I just want to be a part of this. And so once again, thank you guys for all of that. Thank you for making this a reality. And I am really looking forward to what happens in the future. I think this thing is going to be a great resource for people. You would not believe the amount of responses I got when the first issue came out of talking about the articles. Like, thank you so much. This article was great advice. This was something I was dealing with, and it really helped me out. Just, you know, good review after good response was amazing. So thank you guys. Make sure you stay up to date. Go follow Church Creatives Club on Instagram. I encourage you join the Discord group. There's been some good activities, some good discussions in the Discord group. We have a Facebook group that's just getting started. The website, churchcreativersclub.com. That's where you can go download issues. You can subscribe to get emailed when new issues come out. You can go on there and submit content. But just once again, thank you guys. Looking forward to working with y'all in the future and just growing this thing and making it something great. Thank you guys.